Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our semi-final 2 preview for the Eurovision Song Contest. Without further ado, let me bring back my fantastic co-host. This man knows more about Eurovision than you can shake a stick at. It's Ray Fordyce.
Hello again. Yeah. Or as Terry Wogan used to say, hello, welcome. Lovely to be here. I do miss commentating on dear old Eurovision.
Oh man,
Yeah.
sent
I
shivers
had to
down my
have,
spine hearing that voice from the past, mate.
yeah.
I mean, like I say, don't get me wrong, Graham Norton does a good job these days, but you can't beat the old
Oh, he does. Yeah.
Grandmaster.
Yeah. He does indeed. But yeah, I think because he's going to be co-hosting. Mel Gidroich is going to be doing the commentating this year.
Oh my goodness, Christ. Well, I don't know. I kind of got a soft spot for Mel. I quite like her.
Yeah, she'd be calling it Eurovision.
That's true.
And she is a
Uh,
big Eurovision fan as well.
oh,
So
yeah, no, one of the best. I mean, kind of prefer her to Ryland Clark Neal. That's just me.
well, yeah. I mean, Ryland just is just oh he's just all teeth and just nothing else.
Hmm.
He's just
Don't get
yeah
me wrong. I mean, a lot of people don't have a lot of people can't stand seeing him on the street. I can generally quite have a lot of time for him. He seems to
I yeah
first a career in it, and you know that he keeps doing those whole sort of things for children in need, where he's like dancing for 24 hours or
yeah
karaoke for 24 hours. So
I
I'm not a naysayer. I but like him, but like I say, I don't know if I could go the whole 2 hours of the old commentary on him. But
yeah I've got a wee soft spot because he's quite comfortable taking the piss out of himself.
that's very true,
Yeah,
and that's to his credit. To be fair,
yeah, yeah.
and
So he's no bad.
to be fair, again, he's got a lot to go on.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. Lot of these veneers here.
anyway, before we get demonetized yet again,
Yeah.
cool.
Right.
Like I said, we're going to go through the semi-final two. For those who didn't watch the first podcast or getting a bit more new to Eurovision because you've just realised that it's going to be in your backyard and you're from the world. Ray, tell us about how the semi-finals work, just quickly.
Okay, yeah. So now almost every country that applies to do Eurovision has to go through the two semi-finals to earn themselves a spot in the grand final on Saturday, the 13th of May. So 10 people will go through from semi-final 1, 10 will go through from semi-final 2, and then on top of the 20 qualifiers, you have the big 5 and the hosting nation, which was Ukraine. Well, technically it's us, but Ukraine won. And obviously, slight problems over there just now,
Great.
so they can't really host. So we've stepped up.
Okay, look. So what we're going to be hearing is the 16 songs that are going to be in semi-final two. Remember, 10 can qualify for the actual grand final. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through them in performance order and give our thoughts on that, and give our thoughts about what we think about whether they're going to qualify and what we think about the song itself. So, if you're ready, we'll go start with the first one. So, the first country to perform a semi-final two is Denmark. The artist this year is Riley, and the song is called "Breaking My Heart." Ray, tell us about the Danes in Eurovision.
The Danes in Eurovision. Fairly mixed bag of success. Their most recent win was in 2013, which was actually one of my favourite years. I'll probably talk about a few of their entries coming from that year and when we talk about later countries. But yeah, Denmark, fair to middling success. Since I've been watching in 2010, they've been kind of up and down and up, and they're kind of on a bit of a down streak just now. So their competitor this year is hoping for to get them back on an up streak. Although I will say personally, their last two entries were a bit robbed, especially last year. They should have qualified, but that's just me.
Okie dokie. Right. So what we're going to do again is we're going to have a sort of little listen. Again, for copyright reasons, we might fade the sound down a little bit while we're doing that. So apologies if you're just looking and seeing us doing our pathetic dad dancing, but it'll be quite entertaining. So
dancing, lip syncing.
That'll be nice. So we're just going to play Riley "Breaking My Heart" by Denmark. So, Ray, what did you think of that song?
That's one. This is one of those songs that I think I can see myself listening to after the contest. But I don't think it's got a strong enough power to do very well in Eurovision. It's a bop, but it's kind of a
it
bop.
does seem a bit of one of the sort of weaker entries. It's not memorable, I'd say.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah, it's like what Hanson would call a bop.
No.
So, and yeah, I think he's 10 years old. He's very young, baby faced.
Very youngsterish, yes.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not something great about that.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, a lot of the songs in this semi-final aren't particularly strong. So, if he does qualify, it's probably just going to be like by the skin of his hair. He's very curly hair.
That's true. So
what do you think?
I think we're thinking a no for the first one, but shame because he puts the effort in certainly, but it's just one of those ones.
I know, but maybe no, kind of.
I think it's one of those things. If you heard it on Shuffle and Amazon Music, you'd skip it right away. So.
Well, yeah. But then, if he's got a good performance, he might just scrape it.
Yeah. Well, like we say with all these, you never know. Yeah. Cool. All right, let's move on to the second song. This is Armenia, and the artist is Brunette with Future Lover, sung in English and Armenian. So, Ray, tell us a bit more about Armenia.
So, one of the younger countries in Eurovision. I think they first participated in 2007 or 2008, and another one that's had low to middling success. They've actually done better in Junior Eurovision. They won that about 2 years ago, but then I don't really follow Junior Eurovision that much. So they've won Junior Eurovision at least once. The closest they've got to winning the adult Eurovision was finishing in 4th place in 2014. That was Not Alone by RMMP3. And that's probably one of my favourite entries from Armenia. That and Love Wave in 2016.
Okay. We'll give Future Lover and by Brunette a little listen, and we'll tell you what we think. Right. So, what do you think of Armeniana Grande then?
Armeniana Grande, I like that. I like the way that builds up to. You think it's just going to be quite slow paced, and then a few be cools, and then just boom, just hits you with that big power ballad bit, and then
I like it when you have a drop in a good tune like that.
And then it does. And near the end, it does kind of trail off a wee bit into just saying, be cool, you're cool. So it's one of those starts fine, then crescendos, and then kind of fades down a wee bit. So I like it. Um, it's interesting
Hmm.
the way it builds up.
I mean, I'm getting serious Ariana Grande vibes, certainly. And
Yeah,
yeah, do look out for the actual Eurovision coverage because I am going to totally hashtag Armeniana
Armenia
Grande.
Grande. Yeah, and if you get a mention on BBC, I'm going to be extremely jealous again.
Just because I've only done it, just because I managed to do it once, doesn't mean it. Ray's totally got to steal that before I can get into the.
No, I'll give you credit for that one.
Fair enough.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, on sort of standpoint, I mean, I think it could edge through. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's getting a lot of praise by the fans. I can see why. She's got a very sultry voice, and the way she starts off, it's very breathy and very almost kind of relaxing, and then just 180s and that big power bit in the middle. So it's got elements of a good song. Um, yeah, it's pretty good actually.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Mm.
Okay, dokie. Yeah, so I think that's a big tick for me and Ray.
Mhm.
Okay, let's move on to Romania. The artist is Theodore Andre, and the song is DGT brackets off and on.
Mhm.
Ray, tell us about the Romanians.
Right. Well, Romania is possibly one of my favorite countries in Eurovision. Since I started watching in 2010, they've been my winner twice. The first one was actually in 2010, and the second one was 2013. Um, I don't know if you remember, that was the operatic vampire Cesar. It's My Life.
Oh yes, I remember.
That goes down as one of my all-time favorite Eurovision performances ever. Seriously, just watch it. It is just quintessential Eurovision. Um, that's just my opinion. And in terms of how well they've done, um, they've been they've only failed to qualify twice. No, actually three times. The second time was very undeserved, in my opinion. That was in 2019. Um, so to me, they've been kind of very high, and they're sort of wavered. They're wavered a bit, and now this decade they're kind of going down then up, and then um, let's let's see what we think of this year.
Yeah, well, let's do that right now.
Okay,
Well,
honest
I mean,
opinion.
it's not got a lot going for it. I wouldn't say.
No. Yeah, this is a big. Considering I've sung the praises of Romania like in the last 5 minutes, this is a huge
Big
disappointment from.
disappointment.
Yeah. I don't know. Were you watching the live performance or just the music video?
Yeah, I mean,
The music, the live performance. This is from the national final. It looks a bit kind of trashy.
it's
Because there's like scanty clad women sort of dancing around him. And it's almost like he's sort of fulfilling a teenage fantasy. He's
yeah, it's more
he's a
just
bit
one of these
bashful
sort of.
off now. And if you keep watching that, it ends up with him sort of ripping that string vest thing off.
Oh dear.
Um,
Yeah, I
so
think it's just one of those sort of ones that. Oh, yeah, I formed a band. No, it's
yeah,
just yeah, not
it's
for me.
it's very messy, and no, I don't think I'm a bit disappointed with them this year.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
I'd say that's a bit of a. That
yeah,
was yeah, that's a bit unremarkable. I would say.
yeah. I mean, but saying what some people are saying from his rehearsals, he's really improved the performance. But given that the
I'd
song
say
isn't that great, it's going to need a lot. It's going to need a lot of like work on the performance to even stand a chance of qualifying.
So I always say if you can nail it on the night, then that's the one.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, it's a no from me.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, let's move on to Estonia. Their act is Alika, and the song is Bridges. So let's have a little roundup about the Estonians.
Estonia. Not huge amount to say about Estonia. They have had at least one win in 2001. It wasn't the most remarkable of wins, but it's that and Latvia are the only two Baltic states that have qualified. Lithuania is still waiting for them, but we'll talk about Lithuania later. But Estonia, I think, have when they can when they know how to bring a good entry, they really can bring a really good one because some of their better entries have really got like a lot of power to them. Particular mention to their 2015 song "Goodbye to Yesterday" that frequently gets voted like in like top 20 Eurovision songs of all time. And their 2018 one, La Forza, I don't know if you remember that was an opera aria with a woman with a big cinema screen dress and really impressive visuals and
Oh, yes.
as Alex said, she's got a good set of pipes on her, as in she was really knew how to belt the song out. So, yeah, Estonia
Cool.
when they really want to, they can bring out an absolute belter.
Okay, well, let's have a listen to this year's offering and see what we think.
There is always.
Okay, so
So, what do you think?
well, good old piano song. So question is, does she actually play the piano herself, or is it just her
Uh,
vocals and somebody else composing it?
I believe she does play the piano live.
Oh wow, well, that's impressive. That is impressive.
Yeah. So she's got that going for her, and she has got a impressive vocal range. As you hear the song, it gradually builds up, and the song has got a good message in it of building bridges and not walls kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's got a good message. It's a very safe entry, I think.
Yeah, I think it definitely get through the
It's-
final. I don't think it maybe go all the way, but I certainly think it'll qualify.
Yeah, I think it's got potential to qualify, and it'll probably finish up somewhere around the middle. It's a
Cool.
very safe middle ground entry for me, I think.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I quite like it. I think generally a lot of talent there, and just for like if you're saying what I'm doing is literally got a tablet in front of me and I'm tapping the YouTube entries. The one
Uh-huh.
thing that's coming up and from it is underrated. And I'm like, yeah, I
Mhm.
kind of got to admit that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
particularly when we've seen some of the other acts that are going on there. Yeah,
yeah,
probably be one of the most underrated.
yeah.
If I'm honest.
Oh, yeah. Like I say, this semi final is a bit weak compared to semi final one. So some of the not so strong entries in this final have got a chance of qualifying, but they're probably going to get absolutely trounced in the final. But for some people, qualifying is all they need.
Well, that was down to the luck of the draw, wasn't it? Damn you, Ryland Clark Neal!
What? It wasn't my fault. I just picked things out of the ball.
Did it unprofessionally.
Yeah.
Right, anyway, before we get sued, let's move on to our fifth entry.
Yep.
So it's Belgium and it's Gustav and Because of You.
Hmm.
So tell us about the muscles from Brussels.
No, but yeah, Belgium. are another country that when they know how to bring a good entry, they really can bring like an absolute stonker. Um, and they've got quite a high success rate. I believe they've won about 4 times. Famously, they've got one of the youngest winners ever. And I think yeah, if she was playing by Eurovision rules now, she wouldn't even be allowed in because I think she was only 15 when she won.
Fair enough.
And her name escapes me. But yeah, and also another interesting fact: one of the previous Belgian entries, a woman called Barbara Dex, has given her name to an award that's handed out every year for the worst dressed contestant. It's just a joke award, but I think they've kind of done away with it because they think it's getting a bit. It's a bit. Some people find it a bit offensive because, but it's just a
And
bit of
some
a laugh,
people
isn't
really,
it?
really go for it, I'm guessing, as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. But I mean, a couple of people who've won it are actually absolutely love the fact that they won it. So,
Enough.
it's but yeah, it's just meant to be a bit of fun. I don't think it's
No, no, no.
yeah,
Hey, it's always nice to come away winning something.
yeah, but yeah. Let's have a listen to this one.
Right. Ooh.
Right,
Right.
what do you
So,
think?
yeah, more 90s than you can shake a stick at. My God.
Yeah, yeah. Very 90s, and I'll be honest, that's why I love it.
Very 90s. Oh, my God. Literally like having your face smashed in with a now that's what I call music album.
um, yeah, I absolutely love this song. It
it's
does put me in
it's
mind
good.
of
It's catchy. I'll give you
it's
that.
catchy. I love the 90s feel to it. I've seen some videos of Gustav like sort of any sort of pre-rehearsal things. Well,
But I mean, the
not any
baseball cap,
rehearsals, but just
the women from Groove Is in the Heart by Deed Light. Oh man,
yeah.
there is no
Um,
kill like overkill. Is what I
yeah.
say.
I'm guessing you're not a big fan of it then.
I begrudgingly like it.
I
I don't like
I
the 90s that much, but
yeah. I actually really love it. And I was getting a bit worried about it because he was tipped to do very badly. But since the rehearsals, he's going up in the odds, and he looks like he could at least qualify. And I hope he does because he seems like a really nice guy.
yeah.
Um, the only gripe I had was when I watched his live performance, he was a bit stiff. He was a bit. So I think if he just learns to loosen up a bit, he might. I think he could be a bit of a dark horse this year. I'm hoping for at least a qualification.
Okay. I mean,
But he's in my
I'll,
top five, so
I'll give him a tick. I'll give him a very small tick, but I will give him a tick.
oh, I
Only because
yeah,
I like the 90s music so
yeah.
much. Okay, okay, cool. Right, let's move on. Our next track is Cyprus and artist Andrew Lambrou with Break a Broken Heart.
Mhm.
So, tell us about the Cypriots.
Okay, so Cyprus have the longest, since they debuted in 19. They have the longest non-winning streak of any country at the moment. I think matched only by Malta and Romania, or sort of yeah, um, yeah. They very nearly broke that curse in 2018 when their song "Fuego" finished in second place, but
Hmm.
the fandom loves it and thinks it should have won. I disagree, but I won't go there. So they've been. I think they've been quite quiet up until that point. Now they're. I think they've got a little taste of the fact that they might. No, they almost won. So I think they've got a bit of a taste for the victory now. So they're pushing it. But could this be the country this year? The year they do it? Let's
Mm.
have a listen.
Let's all listen and find out. I think it's one of those songs that if you sang it at karaoke, you'd sing another song by accident.
Yeah. I like that he basically, from the word go, he establishes, yeah, I've got a good voice, with his big opening.
Oh, yeah, he's got a fantastic set of pipes in him,
Yeah,
as we said previously. But yeah, it's just one
yeah.
of those ones like, you tell me that I feel it in my coding. Oh, bollocks.
So yeah, good vocal range. Um, and I think he's probably, if he can replicate that live, I think he's gonna. I think he will qualify.
She's
Um,
shooing for qualification. Again, it's one of those ones that I hate to say it, but it's kind of been done by sort of
yeah, I know it's
mainstream.
not very original, but it is. It's a I mean, it's a bit of a safe one, but maybe a bit too safe.
Yeah, I think
But I I like it, and I think
it's all
he
right.
could at
It's
least
good.
qualify. Yeah.
No, definitely. Yeah. It's got definitely got its strong points. I would say.
Hmm.
Cool. All right, where are we now on the list? Oh, one of my favourite nations coming up next, Iceland,
Yeah.
and the Ilja with power.
Yeah.
So, Ray, tell us about the Icelandics.
Um. So it's a bit of a shame for Iceland because 2020 they were tipped to get their first win with do you remember Daddy Frere and
Yeah,
Baby I
yeah.
can't wait to know that one? Yeah. Because that went, people went absolutely crazy for that, and of course that show got cancelled. Um, so yeah, that could have. But they've come close to winning a few times. I know they finished second at least twice, and they're another one of those countries that when they know when they can bring a good song, they can bring an absolute stunner. I know I've said that about three times already this today, but it's it's true for those countries that I say. And one of my personal favorites, I don't know if you remember their 2019 song, Hatred Munsegra, the Hatari, the guys that were in like bondage gear.
Oh, bit hard to forget, but yeah.
Yeah, that was honestly one of my they were just iconic, and that was definitely one of my favorite Icelandic songs. And there's a couple of times I think they've been a bit underappreciated in the last decade. So yeah, a fairly highly rated country in my opinion.
Cool.
Let's see if they'll keep that up this year.
Right, so, well, let's see if they've got the power. Let's see what I did there.
Let's see what you did there.
Yeah, let's play the song. Oh, again, I'm not one for the easy rhymes, so
Mhm.
I take my power in my hand with my flower and like,
Mm. I'm guessing you're not impressed with that one.
I'm just worried that they're going to go in front of like an English speaking audience and she's going to go pop up a power and then so why is everybody going on about penguins?
Yeah. Um. mm, yeah, it's a very average song for me this year. It doesn't stick out that much.
No,
It's yeah, there's not a huge amount because I don't hate it. I just don't really.
no, I
I
mean,
love
it's all right, but
it.
it's
Yeah,
it's not it's
it's
not groundbreaking by any means.
yeah, it's one I see. If it does qualify, it's not going to score very high in the final.
No, I wouldn't think so.
It's Yeah, it's. I can't really say anything more than it. It's just a bit. Nah. It doesn't have the
So,
power. It doesn't have the power over me. I'm afraid.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I had to press you for a yes or no, are you going to
I'm going to say. Well, it's probably not good.
go? Okay. I'll do that with maybe a
Yeah.
little N next to it. Cool. All right. Okay, we're at the halfway point. We've got Greece with Victor Vernikos and What They Say. So tell us about the Greeks.
So, the Greeks, I think, are one of those countries that have got a tendency to take your that have got to make me cough. Um, now they've sometimes they've got one of the tendencies to take it quite seriously, but in their early entries, I love that they used to bring a bit of Greek culture, either like they'd sing a bit in Greek, or they would they'd bring up like some Greek like traditional instruments, or they'd put some Greek dancing in it. So they were very much a country that used to like really bring their culture. They've not done that for a little while. Um, they're not doing it this year. And yeah, let's just have a listen, see what we think.
Okay, so let's bang that on. So, what do you think of that?
Honestly, bored me.
Fun.
No,
Yes, it's a bit
nothing
turd.
remarkable. I've heard stuff like that hundreds of times before. Nothing about it really sticks out. It's it's a snooze fest.
Yeah, it's this. I mean, I tried to give it a chance, but yeah, it is. It is just literally like
Yeah, I mean,
heard it 100 times before. You know, it's like
yeah, just it's boring. It's a definite no for me.
yeah,
Um, it's
no.
um, I mean, what's interesting is you know, Greece and Cyprus always give each other 12 points,
That is true. Yeah, I
and
did notice they were in the same semi-final as well. So
yeah, I mean, much as I like the Cyprus one, there's a danger it might not qualify, and that'd be interesting if neither of them qualify. Like, who are they going to give their 12 points to in the final?
mm,
Um,
I'll tell you what. We'll, at our usual halfway house through, let's talk a bit about tactical voting. So yeah, so obviously Greece giving Cyprus 12 points and Cyprus giving Greece 12 points is the big one.
yeah, that's kind of classic.
What do you think about giving your neighbours points? Do you think it's still an issue, or do you think that's sort of been watered down a bit by the whole jury forming, the whole voting jury forming part of the vote, or
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always. I think it's always going to exist, but I don't think it has as much of an effect on the overall votes as people think. Because
that's true. I mean, like I say, when we got 0 point, the double zero with James Arthur like a couple of years ago, you thought at least Ireland would give us a bloody point, but no.
yeah,
We always give them points,
no,
even when Jed were representing them twice.
yeah.
Not that I'm better or anything. Anyway,
Um, but yeah, you'll always find like Scandinavian points countries will give each other loads of points.
Spain and
Um,
Portugal are usually quite good bet
yeah,
for all as well.
but no, the classic is always Cyprus and Greece giving each other 12. Um, and sometimes like former Yugoslav countries give each other 12 points as well.
Hmm.
Um,
I'm very interested to see how the rest of the world is going to vote now that that's formed part of
yeah,
the new
yeah, that's
Eurovision.
going to be an interesting because that's like well, that's hundreds of countries that are all watching how.
Hmm. That's the thing, because I watch a lot of the like, American React videos, and they always do one for Eurovision every year, because obviously, yeah, the Americans don't have something of that caliber on it, and they always do basically what we're doing now is saying sort of right, what do you think the top 10 is going to be, and then they reveal the actual top 10, and
Yeah,
the sort of whoever gets the most right sort of gets it. And I'm thinking, it'd be interested to see how they actually sort of skew the vote this year.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, that's a very interesting dynamic to bring to the table. But yeah, I mean, although countries like do tend to vote for their neighbours, I mean, although they give them 12 points, it's all about those like the just sort of 10 to 1 points that all stack up, and usually what goes in another country's favour.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Right, 8 to go. Let's move on to Poland and their track, their artist Blanca with the track Solo.
Mhm.
Ray, tell us about Poland Eurovision.
Poland, one of those countries that is another one that's had more success in junior Eurovision. They've won. They won twice in a row a few years ago, so they seem to be having better luck there. And the adult contest, very mixed success. Um, uh, can't really remember what their best result was. Um, I think they finished top five in their very early years. um, but in the last decade or so, sort of middle to low success mostly. Um, and after we've had a listen to, there's some interesting stories I've heard about this year. So we'll have a listen
Okay,
first, and we'll talk about that.
okay, so let's have a listen to Blanca with Solo.
Mhm.
So definitely think it's one for the dads watching.
Yep. Did you watch the national final? Or did you watch the music video?
I watched the music video.
Oh,
Take
okay.
my eyes off the music video. Anyway, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, the song itself, it's interesting for Poland to go for a more summery um, song.
That's true.
It's catchy. The song itself is one I could quite easily listen to. I just caught a little glimpse of the national final performance, and I'm sort of wondering how it managed to qualify.
Think the Poles know what they like.
Yeah, well, interesting story about this. There is a lot of rumors around in Poland that um, that national final was rigged for her to win
Mm.
because I think the rumor is that she one of the sort of production people is related to her in some way and really pushed for her to win. Um, and yeah, when she did win, there was a huge amount of controversy because apparently there was a much better song called I think it was called Gladiator, which like had potential to get Poland into the top five, and then this one, after seeing that live performance, I can sort of see why people are starting those rumors because it's not the best live performance. So if she is going to stand any chance of getting into she's really got to work on that live performance.
Well, remains to be
Um,
seen. But like I say, I'm going to say that's going to get through.
yeah, I
That's it.
think song itself, I quite like it. Yeah, just needs a lot of work on the live element.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, okay, cool. Let's move on to Slovenia with their band Joker Out and their song called Carpe Diem.
Hmm.
Well, Ray, caveat emptor, tell us about Slovenia.
Slovenia, one of those quite underappreciated countries, I find. Um, they they're one of those countries that always seems to. They have a lot of good songs, but they always seem to sort of slip under the radar. I don't know if it's just because they're Slovenia or because they've got a tendency to go for sort of more that are more sort of subtle entries, more that are just a little bit out of the box. Kind of, they're they're how can I best describe them? They're they're coasters in the contest, for want of a better description.
Fair enough.
But some of their entries have been a bit underappreciated.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, let's have a little listen and then let's make
Mhm.
it right. So, here we go.
Okay, so what do you think?
Because I kind of like that one. I mean, I wouldn't say it's sort of remarkable, but it sort of, it made me think of those sort of early 90s days we had sort of Franz Ferdinand and Israel Carpenter's a lot knocking around, and I thought, yeah, that kind of reminds me of that. I kind of quite like songs like that, so
Yeah,
I think you're not too impressed.
it's another one a middle ground entry that middle sort of leaning more towards the slightly high end of the middle ground.
Mhm.
So it's a very safe entry, and I think it will get them through to the finals. I think.
Okay,
I know the fandom seem to really quite like it. I can sort of see why it's a bit. It does stand out a little bit. Um, yeah, it's a very safe entry for me. I think.
fair enough.
I know I've said that a lot tonight, but it's
Safe but not special.
yeah. Just I did say this semi final is a lot weaker than the first one, so yeah, most of the entries are kind of middle
Yeah, fair enough.
to nah.
Middle to me. I like that. Cool. All right,
Middle
let's
to meh.
crack on then. Next one. Middle to me. We'll have that as the tagline for this podcast.
Yeah. Hashtag middle to meh.
Hashtag middle to me. Cool. All right, next one's Georgia with Iru and Echo. So
Mhm.
tell us about the Georgians.
Well, right. So for me, Georgia are possibly the ultimate hit or miss country. Um, it's like one year they're in my top 15, the next year they're my last place. And they've been up and down like that pretty much pretty much all like the last 10, 12 years. Um, so yeah, when they get a good entry, it's a really good one. When they get a bad entry, it tanks. And some interesting facts about this girl represented Georgia in junior Eurovision as part of a girl group,
Oh,
and now
okay.
she's branching out on her own into adult Eurovision with this one.
Is there a lot of there's a lot of success from people transferring like from the junior leagues to the senior leagues?
Mm, sometimes that we've not had anyone win. Not had anyone win from who's won junior Eurovision to winning the adult Eurovision.
Right.
We've had someone come close. I think the closest was the Maltese entry in 2021. She did quite well. She won for junior Eurovision a few years ago.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay. So some credentials, let's say. Some
yeah,
credentials. Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
I'd
We'll tell what
almost
we'll
give
have a quick listen,
yeah.
and then we'll
Yeah.
see what we think. I was right up to discounting until it got to the chorus, and I was just like,
yeah. So I
I quite like that one in the end.
yeah, I like that. Like she starts off establishing, yep, it's another one like Cyprus where she sort of comes in. I've got a powerful voice, and I'm going to kill it this time. So, and then she just gets on with it. And yeah, I quite like this one. Um, it's just nice to hear a Georgian song go back into my top 20.
Well, that's good to hear.
So yeah, I think Georgia haven't been very successful recently. I think this could be the one that ends their bad luck.
Well, fingers crossed.
As
Let's
for
go.
how well I think it'll do in the final, mm, middle to high if she gets a good performance going.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. So fingers crossed.
Mhm.
Cool. All right. Well, 5 more to go through. Our next is San Marino. Ray, you're gonna have your work cut out doing the facts for this one, but off you go.
Yeah, the smallest country in Eurovision and possibly one of the least successful. In all the time they've participated, they've qualified twice, and in their whole career, they've only ever got one set of 12 points, like ever. Um, and remember that was from Poland in 2021. Um, but yeah, but when they the teams that they do qualify, they don't get very far on the scoreboard, which is a shame, especially for their 2021 qualification, because that song was an absolute banger.
Fair enough.
Um, and I also think they've also had one of the most universally underrated Eurovision songs ever. Their entry in 2013 was a huge fan favorite, and it just missed the final by like about 10 points.
Oh, unlucky.
Yeah,
I realised I told you the artist name. So the artist is Pique Jacks, and the song's called "Like an Animal."
yeah.
I think I was trying to put it off a little bit because I wasn't sure how you pronounce Pique Jacks.
Peaked,
Peak Jacks.
Peak Jacks, Peakwed. Yeah,
That's what I was trying to put it off, Ray. Thanks.
yeah, uh,
So, Peak Jacks and Like an Animal
yeah.
for San Marino. We'll give that a
Yep.
quick listen and then. Right. The only thing I don't get is if Ryland Clark Neal's singing this song, how's he able to host it as well?
Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, with opening lyrics, "Come on, baby, I can smell you like an animal."
Yeah.
And
Actually,
the look on
Ray,
his face
Ray,
kind of
Ray,
looks like
Ray,
he can smell an animal.
can you take your glasses off a second? Yeah.
Come on, baby, I can fly you like an animal.
Okay, don't do that. It's scary. Right.
I'm like a fat version of the singer.
I didn't say that. You said that.
Yes, I know I did. um,
Yeah,
Opinions?
not outstanding for me. I don't think.
No. Yeah. I mean, once the yeah, it's. I mean, the opening lyrics kind of killed it, like from the word go. Come on, baby, I can smell you like an animal.
Yeah, well, he's probably used to doing that in the pub that he performs in.
Yeah, so that's a
Okay,
big
so
fat
yeah,
no from.
yeah, I think I'll give that one a miss.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Our next one is Austria, and getting into the duet sport of the night. It's Tia and Selena with the song "Who the Hell is Edgar."
Yeah.
Just nice to
Yeah.
say that one. Okay, tell us about
Yes.
the Austrians in Eurovision, Ray.
Um, they're actually they've been pretty strong in the last decade, and they have possibly one of the most memorable winners in recent times with Conchita Wurst in
Mm-hmm.
2014. Um, not only a great song, but Conchita Wurst is just an amazing human being. Because
No doubt there.
because of what they basically used their win to, do a lot of good for the LGBT community. But that's one entry. Um, Other Austrian entries from the last few years have been pretty solid. Um, so let's see if this one can get them back to their standards.
Okay, dokie. Well, let's give it a quick Wheels of Steel roll. If it's got its own dance moves, that's half the battle, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Not one that I would take seriously, but it's a lot of fun. It's bordering on guilty pleasure territory, which I like.
Definitely.
That's because guilty pleasures are my favorite thing about Eurovision, and this is heading
Absolutely.
into that territory.
Let's be honest, most of the contest is a guilty pleasure for most of us.
Hello.
But yeah, no, I'll kind of like that. I think it'll do well.
Oh, sorry.
What did they cut out?
Yeah, so sorry, I lost a lot of you because I had a bad connection there.
Oh, no worries. No, I generally think that's got the. It sticks in the mind. I think a lot of those ones in this semi final haven't really sort of launched in there, but it's one of the ones you'd be humming that for a long time to come.
Yeah, it's catchy and fun, and one that sort of puts a wee bit of a smile on your face. It's always nice to hear a song like that. And the
I
fans
think
seem
definitely.
to, fans seem to really quite like that one because it's fun. So
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, this semi final seems to be the weaker, and there seems to be a lot of similarness. It's nice to have something that sort of changes it up a bit, particularly as it's going to be like the third last act, the fourth
yeah,
last act in the bill. So
mhm.
probably wake up a few people, which is always good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool. I think that one
Nice.
gets a big tick from us. Okay, okay.
Yep.
Right, 3 acts left. The next one is Albania with again another duet. Albania and Familia Kelmendi. I think I got that right. And the song Duje, which is performed in full Albanian. So, maybe
Yep.
tell us about our Albanian friends.
Yes. So one thing I've like about Albanian is most of the time they do sing in Albanian. Um, and I always love it when a country performs in its native language. They have got a tendency to send people, well, particularly females with big voices. This year being no exception. So, spoiler alert, that's coming up.
Mhm.
Um, so, and I think the best result they had was in 2012 with they came in fifth place. Um, and that was Rona Nishlu with Seuss, which diehard Eurovision fans will remember her for her very strange outfit and her um, very loud voice, singing about chai.
Ah, all right. Well, let's give this year's offering a listen.
Yeah.
Albina and Familia Comanche. Here we go.
Mhm.
So, Ray, what do you think?
Um, it does follow the typical Albanian formula of women with a big voice, going for giving it the kind of, yeah, the theme that that wouldn't look out of place on a a documentary about the pyramids.
That's true.
Yeah, and what I find
Do you think?
interesting, this is actually Albina, and it is actually her entire family doing the singing. So,
I
um,
mean, I noticed the sort of familiar name, and you see the actual video they put out. That it's definitely a big family affair, which
yeah,
it's good. It sometimes works when Eurovision do that.
yeah, so it's a very interesting dynamic, and I'll be interesting to see how that translates in their live stage performance. Um, I think
Do you think
that's
it's
one
got
of the
what it takes to get through the final, though?
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they are in a very weak semi-final, so they've got potential because it has got the makings of a qualifier with the big vocals, and
Hmm.
um, is a very. I think the song is about family relationships, so got a good meaning to the song. Um,
I'm thinking more
so yeah,
yes than no. I think.
yeah, I think it's I think it will qualify,
Fair enough.
but it might get a bit overshadowed in the final.
Fair enough. All
Yeah.
right. Right, we've got two left. Our penultimate entry is Lithuania and Monica
Mhm.
Linkje and Stay.
Mhm.
So, Ray, tell us about the Lithuania's Eurovision.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, they're the only Baltic country that hasn't had a win yet. Um, in my honest opinion, in the last decade, the 2010s, they were. I personally found them one of the weakest countries in the contest. Like I never had their entries higher than like about uh, 15 or so, and most of them were very bottom placings. But and big but since the start of this decade, they have come out with a lot of absolute bangers. Like
Mhm.
the sad thing is, 2020 they could have actually had their first win or their possibly their highest place ever. With the Roop on Fire, that song was absolutely amazing. That was one I had tipped to win that year. And yeah, this decade they've really come on leaps and bounds. So I'm hoping they can keep it up with this one.
All right. Well, let's give it a little play. Monica Linkje and Stay.
Mhm. What do you
Right.
think?
Oh, not a fan.
Hmm. It's a bit bland, isn't it?
It is very bland.
Yeah,
And I don't think people are going to go for that after, given this the second last song in the second semi final, and they've had about 20 ballads already. And they're just like, no, enough of
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's a bit overshadowed. Um, um, it's a shame because she's got some good vocal moments in there. Like she can belt out a few good notes, but overall the song, yeah, it's not strong enough to stand out. I don't think.
Mm.
I don't see. I don't see them getting through.
No, sorry, Lithuania.
Yeah.
Right. So we come to our last act of the second semi-final, and it's Australia with the band Voyager and the song "Promise."
Yeah.
Ray, so I'll ask the question that everybody else asks when they hear that. It's like Australia and the bloody Eurovision.
Well, Australia were outside of Europe were the biggest like Eurovision fans of all time, and then in 2015 to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the contest, they got invited to participate as a contestant, and they did so well they decided, "Do you want to just keep performing?" So yeah, they've just been coming back ever since. Um, and they very nearly won on their second attempt. That was "Sound of Silence" by Damiim, finished in second place. Um, so they've certainly um, left their mark on the contest already. So let's see if
So
they'll. keep that up with this one.
Now, remind me. So, if Australia wins, then they obviously can't have it in Australia because the time difference is too slight. So, the rules are they get to have it in whichever European country that they decide. Is that correct?
Something like that, yeah.
So, I
Um,
mean, given that not wanting to pull rank, but they're technically part of the Commonwealth, then essentially, if Australia wins, then we have to host it next year as well.
yeah, but are
All
they
right,
going to do it? Well, let's have a listen and see if they've got a
let's have a
chance.
listen and see. Voyager and Promise. Well, it's not. It's nice to see that Kratos from the God of War series has got a job in lead guitar there.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you think?
I mean, it's all right. Um, I think that I think it'll get through. I don't think it stands out as like one of the more sort of rock entries, but it's not bad. It's definitely got sort of. I mean, I've got a big. Don't get me wrong. I've got a big amount of time for Aussie-based rock. I'm a big. I'm a big fan of that. So yeah, it kind of appeals to me a bit. But again, I don't see them getting very far in the final if they get through. Well, how about you, Ray?
Yeah, this has been a bit of a slow burner for me. Um, I've listened to it a few times, and I've warmed to it a little bit. Um, it's I agree with you that it's got potential to qualify. I think it's going to be if it is going to qualify, it's going to be based on how well they do live. And I think they're quite charismatic live performers, so
Yeah.
hopefully that stands them in good stead to at least get them through to the final. But it's might get a little bit overshadowed in the final, though.
Well, like I
But
said, we'll see how things go. But I think, like you say, it's a slow burner. I think that could do quite well if it sort of
yeah,
germinates a bit. Right. Well, Ray, unbelievably, I think this is a first for us because for those of you maybe have followed us on Twitter and what have you, we've always been sort of in a little bit of disagreement about exactly what acts are going to go through. But I'm looking through what was said for yes and no, and we're in complete agreement for once. And we've got
yeah,
10 out of 16, which isn't too bad. So,
yeah.
in order, our picks for the semi final two are Armenia, uh, Estonia, Belgium, Cyprus, Poland, Slovenia, Georgia, Austria, Albania, and Australia.
Mhm. Yeah, um,
Solid.
yeah. But I think a lot of them are going to come down to how well they do live.
That's
Um,
true.
and then if the ones that do qualify, I'll be honest, I don't see them getting very high up on the board.
All
I
right. Well,
think
that's it.
semi-final one is a lot stronger. So anything that gets through from semi-final one is probably going to do much better than these ones. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. Well, obviously, I look forward to Eurovision every year, but looking forward to see how right or wrong we are with these predictions.
Yep, definitely.
And
Okay, well, like I say, we'll see what happens when we get to the first semi final. So, semi final one is on May the 9th, semi
yep,
final two is on May the 11th, and
yep,
the final
a
is
week
on Friday the
today.
13th. Um,
Yep,
yeah, so like I say, we'll see sort of what happens in the finals. Thank you so much for joining us, Ray. You've been our Eurovision guiding love, shine the light as always. And
see what you did there.
I done it again. It's been great to have your expertise.
Thank you very much.
We're doing this on the auspices of the Weegie Warrior podcast. Thank you to Andrew Turning for letting us do this. He set up this podcast just over a year ago to sort of celebrate the best of sort of local music and talent. So that sort of opened up a bit since we've done a little hostile takeover. So hopefully we'll see a lot more of that in the future. Do check out this and all the other Ginger Media Limited podcasts available. More information is available on the Facebook site. Check out our various social media streams. Ray, you've got a show coming up at the Fringe in August.
I do, yes. Ray Fordyce and his wonderfully spiffing variety show, 6:10 at the City Cafe 90s room, every day except Mondays, the full run of the Fringe. And once I have booked all the shows, you might get to see this man here as well.
Well, maybe. Dare say I've bullied my way into a couple of cameo appearances, so we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Like I say, keep an eye on our social media feeds as well. He's at Fordyce. I'm at Ginger Ale Comedy. We'll probably end up doing like a tweet along or something during the Eurovision finals, mainly because we're vastly opinionated and we're going to put it out in the space and see what sticks. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for downloading this podcast. It's been great to keep you informed over the past few weeks, and we'll finish it in the traditional Eurovision way when they go to they open up the tally votes. So, thank you for watching, and Europe, start voting!
No!
Goodbye.